We'll bring things back here to Nigeria, where the Bring Back Our Girls group continues its week-long march in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to raise awareness as the Chibok girls' captivity surpasses 1,000 days. On day 2 of the procession, the BBOG campaign focuses on the plight of IDPs across the country. The co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls group, Obi Ezekwesili, says the federal government's handling of internally displaced persons is inadequate and troubling.
Why should Nigeria behave as if we cannot find the solutions to improving the conditions of our internally displaced people? Our internally displaced people can become a scourge on this country, because here we are carrying on as if everything is okay with everyone. Meanwhile, we've got millions of our people in camps, living in deplorable conditions. Doesn't it break your heart to see children in 2017 stunted, looking like Wachoko victims? Was it not bad enough during the Nigerian Civil War? Why should we come and reenact those images at this time in our lives? We shouldn't, and that's why we're campaigning.
And still in Nigeria, the northeast is on high alert following warnings by the military and traditional rulers notifying residents of likely attacks by remnants of the Boko Haram terrorist group. Reports say people are now more cautious as they carry on their daily activities without watching out for terrorist elements around them. Just yesterday, a twin bomb attack occurred at Muna Garage in Maiduguri, Borno State, killing 4 people. Meanwhile, the police have asked residents to be cautious of strange persons knocking at their doors, as this is now the latest ploy used by terrorists to attack their targets.
Last night it was very busy here in Maiduguri. Residents were hearing sound of explosions and nobody was certain where it was happening. But then this morning, the police have issued a statement telling us that it happened around the area, and then we understand that 4 persons were killed. They were silent about casualties who were injured, but then according to the statement, 4 people were killed in Gwenge area. And then the first attack in the Munagari area, we understand that one of the civilian GTS members that tried to stop the suspected Boko Haram terrorists died in the encounter. So that's what we have for now. And we are still trying to find out if there are wounded civilians who are receiving treatment in hospital or something like that. Well, like the first place where the attack happened, that's the Munagari. It is becoming notorious for those kind of things. This is like the 3rd or 4th time when we are experiencing either suicide attack or like yesterday's attack was different. 2 of the terrorists came with AK-47 guns, 3 of them actually, and then they were engaged by the civilian GTF and then the military on patrol there. So it's a strategic area because it's one of the satellite communities leading to Gamborungala and that axis of the state, and the security there is the security presence there is very high because of the unique nature of that area. And then the second place where the second suicide bombing attack happened last night is one of the most populated areas in Maiduguri, because low-income earners, a lot of them live around there. So if it was in the daytime, the casualties people would have been actually more than we are experiencing right now.
Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara says life has returned to normal after the disruption brought about by a mutiny in several barracks across the country. The mutiny began in Bouaké, the country's 2nd largest city, on Friday and spread to the commercial capital Abidjan, where soldiers took over the army headquarters. Meanwhile, Ivory Coast Prime Minister Daniel Duncan has resigned and dissolves the government in a move that had been expected following the approval of a new constitution and parliamentary elections last month.
A major crisis has possibly been averted in Côte d'Ivoire. A massive mutiny by members of the armed forces had taken over at least 5 cities, including the capital, on Friday. spread fear about memories of a decade-long civil war that are still fresh. Now the government says it has reached a deal with the rogue troops who demand higher wages and bonuses. Talks between the defense minister and the mutiny leaders were tense. At a low point, some soldiers even fired on the house where the discussions took place, trapping the minister and journalists inside, including a Reuters reporter. The soldiers say they are content with the conclusion and will return to service. But the government is putting a massive spin on the outcome. These were not negotiations. We came here to talk with family, with our men, their concerns, and to give a true account of our talks to the President of the Republic. No one's been confirmed killed in the uprising, but the UN peacekeepers were deployed in an attempt to keep the powder keg from exploding. Côte d'Ivoire's military was assembled from a patchwork of former rebel fighters and loyalist soldiers, leaving divisions rife. A nearly identical uprising occurred in the country 2 years ago.
Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta has become the latest inspiration for the challenge trend on Twitter. People have been using the hashtag Uhuru Challenge to make fun of Mr. Kenyatta's perceived penchant for launching projects and his communication team's use of flowery language to describe them. His critics say that some of the projects he says is launching were already underway or had been already commissioned. Mr. Kenyatta was in the coastal city of Mombasa last week, where he launched a footbridge. And that's our program today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I am BC Adebayo.